Workplace burnout is happening all over. In a recent Gallup poll, only 30% of American employees say they feel engaged on the job. Tony Schwartz took on this topic in an article for the New York Times this week.
Why You Hate Work is already one of the most shared articles of the year. Tony is the founder and CEO of the Energy Project. That's a consulting firm that helps organizations improve on-the-job engagement and performance. Tony Schwartz, good to have you back.
Good to be here.
It seems like such an obvious thing. Be nice to your employees and they will work harder for you. But there really is a big disconnect, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got 200 years of employers trying to get more out of employees. The key to the future in a world of overwhelming demand is to invest more in them. So you free them and fuel them and inspire them to bring more of themselves to work.
But what are employers saying? How are they normally operating?
Push harder, do more, put in more hours, and work till you drop.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is you conducted this study with the Harvard Business Review, and you found that people are more engaged and more productive at work when they focus on four things. The first is renewal. What do you mean by renewal?
Well, in the face of demand, we need to offset that with recovering and renewing energy, whether that means taking breaks during the day, making sure during the evening that you're not continuing to work, having real vacations. All of that is a critical piece.
And can I just say this graphic right here? You say that employees who take a break every 90 minutes report a 30% higher level of focus, 50% greater capacity to think creatively. Charlie's a big supporter of this.
Totally believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any doubt that if you keep working for a long period of time intensely, your ability to focus diminishes? And yet employers ask people to do that because they're counting hours instead of counting the output.
It's peak performance is what you're after.
Absolutely. You're looking at you're trying to understand what does it take to bring all of your skill and talent to life.
Second thing was emotional needs.
Yeah, so the emotional need, the primary one is to feel valued. And the primary impulse of employers is to tell you what you do wrong. There's an enormous value in the simplest kinds of kindness, appreciation, respect. When you don't feel that, when your value is at risk, you can't produce value.
I know thank you goes a long way, doesn't it? It goes a long way in all things.
Absolutely, all day long.
And focus. Focus is also.
So focus is under siege. We know that. That's the mental area. And so the ability, when employers can provide boundaries, when employers can provide the opportunities for people to be really on when they're on and really off when they're off, that changes their ability and capacity.
And then fourth, you say have a sense of purpose for employees.
Well, to be able to define a purpose, for an organization to be able to find a purpose that individuals can align with, gives them the sense that what they're doing matters. Nothing more in our study, nothing more significantly influences employees' likelihood to stay in the job than that.
Okay, this all sounds really good, but how do you implement it, and how do you really force or encourage employees to do these things?
Well, look at these companies that are doing this so well. Take a Costco, which starts out by treating people better by paying them twice as much as the average employer does. That seems like it would be impossible, and yet they save so much money in lower turnover and in training costs that it makes it possible. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that these are very, very simple. These are very, very simple things. They don't take a lot of money. They don't take a lot of time. They just take a lot of intention.
They're fundamental is what they are. They're fundamental.
They're fundamental.
Treat people the way you would like to be treated.
Yeah, right, exactly. The golden rule, and yet we've lost that in the intensity of trying to get stuff done. In the demand that we're facing, the most fundamental principles get lost.
The headline, Why You Hate Work, was so provocative. What's the reaction that you're getting?
I've never in 40 years had a bigger response to a piece than I have to this. We've touched a nerve. I've touched a nerve. The Energy Project's touched a nerve that is astonishing to me. 500 comments before they closed it down on the New York Times. And what is so amazing to me is the depth of despair and struggle and cynicism that even white-collar workers are feeling in the face of so much demand and so little positive feedback.
All right. All right. Well, Tony Schwartz, you were wonderful. We really appreciate you being here.
I love you.
And the focus of your segment was fantastic. I feel renewed. I feel a sense of purpose.
You know, you asked me such intelligent and thoughtful questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't you feel better?
I do.
Yes. We feel valued here at CBS This Morning. Thank you, Tony.